I throw my hands up in the air sometimes. Right back at you, Denise. How are you? Bless you. Oh, bless you. What? Nope, just you. I throw my hands up in the air sometimes. How are you, Denise? I'm good. Today, I was so busy, but I made it out. I made it out today. Had a client at 7 a.m. Went to Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Came home. Had two clients and then taught a class. Then had some dinner. Watched some Korean drama with my wife. Now I'm here. Now I am here. And I want to talk about something today called, it's a movie called Whiplash. Whiplash. Dun, 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 dun. You know, talking to people a lot every day is I think I think I'm really getting the well, I feel this a lot usually when I meet a lot of clients, but I'm really feeling the interesting need uh yeah, meeting many people, talking to people, it's so interesting about the human experience and the wide range of human experiences. July, why July? Number one, my birthday is in July. And you know what? Let's make a video about this. Hey everyone, this is a very quick video about this question. July, why July? Why July life coach? Number one, I was born in July. My birthday is July 7th of 87. So, number one. Number two, when I decided to become a life coach, I looked at the calendar and then the calendar said July in very big letters. And something about that calendar, something about that word imagery, really like spoke to me beyond the calendar. There was some like expansive space I was imagining and seeing, and I immediately fell in love with that idea of July because it's always summer for me. It's my birthday, so it always feels my time. And that's sort of the experience that I want to give to you, that it's your time. With my life coaching, that's sort of what I want to achieve. So hence July life coach. Hope this helps. Yeah, because so many people ask in many different times, so might as well just talk about it. Cool. All right. What do you do, Denise? Are you a student? Do you work, or what's going on with your life? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, got a mild headache. Is Super Bowl over? Was Usher good? I don't know anything about football. You're a student. Okay. Well, how's school? When I was a student, I didn't enjoy it. So I'm hoping your experience is a little different. Ooh, is it like a graduate program, like a master's program, or like a PhD, or maybe college? It's an important time. Important time. What's your field of study? I did computer science. At first, I was undecided, and I went to the College of Arts and Sciences because originally I was interested in I thought I was gonna be a chemist because chemistry was like my favorite subject and physics was my favorite subject. So I thought, right, bio too. So I really thought that I was gonna be a natural scientist. But then I went into freshman year and then I looked at my schedule and like lab was like 5 hours. I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna do that. And, I don't know. Maybe it was a dumb decision to base my whole major around the class times, but since then I didn't know what major I was gonna pick, and then I was always doing computer stuff, so I was like, okay, I like computer, and then I took one computer science class. At first, I wasn't even interested in computer science, but it filled my science like requirements for graduation, so I was like, oh, okay, and then I took it, and turns out like because I was always on the computer a lot, like I had a knack for computer science, and especially compared to my peers, they were having a really hard time understanding like what's going on in the class. They had no idea. So I was helping everyone do their homework and things like that, and then I was like, huh, maybe like this is my thing, and then that's why I chose computer science. And then turns out in the major, there's like 10,000 people who have been doing computer science all their life, and so I quickly felt very stupid compared to them, and that was a bad time. But hey, still here doing computer science. Associate of Applied Science and Nursing degree. Oof. Best of luck with that. Um, yeah, nursing. I think I think the job market for nursing is still pretty good, right? I mean, not that life is all about jobs, but it certainly helps. It certainly helps. Do you know when you're gonna get the results? I hope you get it soon. I hated waiting for the college results. But maybe you're cooler than I am. Maybe you're cooler than March 1st. Oof. Suspense. Killing you. But I'm sure you're gonna make it. And you know what? Even if you don't make it, always a way to make it work. November 23? Jeez, that's a long time to waiting. So what have you been doing while you're waiting? Is it just like chilling, kind of enjoying your life while you wait? Man, wow. I'm seeing some Instagram posts of people with different body conditions. Trying to finish your semester without failing? Hey, hey, without failing, sure you can ace it. I'm sure. Hi, Carolina. Rejection is your biggest fear? Yeah. Well, if you wanna talk about that, I'm here for you. But hey, how are you? Rejection is like whiplash. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about whiplash in a second. Rejection is it feels like it's so important because it tells you something about your character, right? But um ultimately it's nothing but like a criteria misfit, right? So you have a circle mold and then suppose you're a big circle and it doesn't fit the mold, right? So then it's rejected. But what if you're what if you're a square and you need to fit into a circle mold? You're not gonna fit in there, right? Ultimately that's what rejection is. But we tend to think that when we get rejected, it's because like you as a person actually suck, and you as a person has qualities that aren't good enough to get in there, right? Which isn't true at all, because you know, do they really know you? They know you by your application, right? And the information that you provide, which is a very specific subset of you, and if they say yes or no based on that, that's all they're looking at, and it has nothing to do with the your quality, you know? And so, of course, it's your role to kind of like think about this and integrate this if you want to, have a happy life without fear. But uh yeah, what if they reject you? It means nothing about your character. And you're still, very qualified, I'm sure. You're still passionate about nursing. And even if not, hey, you're figuring things out, so it's all good. My wife and I just played this game called Pizza, no, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. So this I just played this game with my wife. Um, it's basically you shuffle all these cards, and then you take turns revealing the card, and as you reveal one by one, you have to take turns saying in order taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. And if the card you put out coincides with that, so I play a card, it's cat, but I'm saying taco, then it doesn't match, right? But if I'm saying goat and I play a goat card, then I need to put my hand on top of the card stack. And whoever does it latest gets the card, and the goal is to clear out your hand and then match the last time. So it's meant for 3 to 8 people, but we played it just for fun. And yeah, with 2 people, this game never ends, but it was so stressful. A very high action filled, very quick and easy board game. If you're interested in playing, if you like board games, highly recommend this one. Very quick party game. Let's talk about Whiplash. Whiplash is a movie about a drummer and his teacher, and that's a very big understatement. But why am I talking about this movie today? Well, my wife's friend watched it, and it reminded me of this movie. So, and I don't think I ever talked about it on YouTube. So here I am talking about the movie Whiplash from a life coach's perspective. So, um, I'm gonna go like stream of consciousness about this. I don't really have an order, but in the end, well, obviously this is going to be a spoiler for Whiplash. So if you're interested in watching Whiplash and you don't want the see the ending, then please you this is your warning to run away. Uh, in the end, who won? Right? Number one, life is not a battle, so there is no winner and loser. That's a great scheme of things. But if we had to choose between Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons, and what's his name? I don't know the character's name. Um, Miles, is it? I gotta. Well, anyway, the main character and the teacher who won. I believe that it is the student who won because why? The teacher is ultimately a very manipulative and abusive person, right? Now, from the teacher's perspective, it's tempting to see that this student has reached his pinnacle because of my teaching, because of my methods, right? Because I gave him so many challenges to overcome, um, he thrived in it and therefore became this drummer who can give me a big middle finger in a really important stage. And while that is like can be his interpretation, that's only one possible reality out of all the possible realities, right? What if, oh, it's Andrew. What if Andrew, played by Miles Teller, that's why. What if Andrew had met a more compassionate teacher who shared his life views and who was able to foster him in a non competitive way and he thrived even more? There's no knowing whether that possibility could have happened, right? Because, you know, you simply don't know. You only know the life that you got, and the rest you don't know. But the thing is, the person who is actually playing the drums is Andrew. And the skill that's acquired is ultimately Andrew's, right? And now, Andrew came up to that level of wanting to put the middle finger to Fletcher, but now through this experience, because he wins, has the dominance over Fletcher, after this moment, he transcends the influence of Fletcher because there's nothing more. But the thing is, well, that's from the scope of the movie. But what tends to happen is, now what? There's no really like knowing what's gonna happen. Now that a big goal in the life has changed. Like there's no pinnacle to reach to. Andrew wanted Fletcher's approval. And based on the ending scene, as he does this and gives the nod of approval, he got it. And now what? That can, I think, in my opinion, majority of the times lead to two kind of endings. Number one, there's no purpose anymore. So they become the Fletcher student who ultimately committed suicide. And option number two is because of karma, he finds a new abusive teacher or abusive mentor who is willing to test him to his limits again, and the cycle continues, and that fire will eventually burn him up. Now, why this kind of a doom relationship? Why not have a, in my view, in my perspective, why not have a more hopeful ending for Andrew? Well, given all the things that are backstory that we see about Andrew in this movie, we can tell that Andrew is someone who thrives off of competition and being compared. Andrew thrives at being the top of something, and moreover, Andrew is very hungry for approval from figures that he respects. And while the ultimate battle between Fletcher and him, the movie is centered around that. When you look at Andrew's life from a comprehensive angle, this big ending scene has no relation to the greater pattern of life that Andrew experienced. So, Andrew will continue seeking validation from people he respects, and he has had a humbling experience, especially with his girlfriend at the time. But ultimately, the thrill of drums and the thrill of competition and thrill of being on edge will continue to drive him because it's an the thought of girls and relationships is just an afterthought. It's a rebound. And his father will continue to look at his son from a sad perspective and kind of being deeply sad and disappointed and kind of proud at this like mixed feeling. And Andrew will always continue to be a spiteful person because the movie showed nothing that contributes to the change in those regards. And Whiplash is interesting to Korean and I think generally Asian people because it's perceived so differently in the East and the West. In Korea, education tends to be very abusive, and I know personally that I grew up in an environment where it was so common for students to be violently beaten by their teachers. Like Fletcher's abusive, right? But compared to the things that I used to grow up with, it's not much. Fletcher does a lot of the like he does resort to physical violence at times, and but his tactic is usually around the emotional manipulation. But at least for Fletcher, there's an end game goal, right? They He wants to foster the best drumming skill, which is okay. We'll get to that in a bit. But the actual violent teachers in Korea, they don't even have those ideals when I grew up. They were simply just people, very frustrated people with the job of a teacher, and the only way they knew how to let out the frustration is to beat kids and by overpowering them. That's how they felt the control that was missing from their life. And so, because Koreans are so, and I think Asians in general are so used to being beaten into shape, uh, Koreans actually think of this movie as a very inspirational movie about how you have to go mad with passion in order to achieve something of significance. But so it's largely seen as an educational movie in Korea, but in America and in other, non-Asian parts of the world, it's seen as a more of a kind of abusive dynamic exploration drama. And coming back to the character of Fletcher, why Fletcher's character is so problematic is the dynamic. Okay, so what makes Fletcher abusive and a manipulative narcissist instead of someone who is just really intensely passionate about drumming? The core essence of what makes Fletcher so vile is that he really resorts to shame. And what do I mean by shame? To Fletcher, if it's not his way, they don't, the people who don't play his way don't deserve a spot. Basically, there is no variety in styles. There's no variety in skill sets. There's no variety in the way of exploring music, which and jazz of all things, which is supposed to be this really exploratory genre, an experimental genre. But to Fletcher, his ideals are superior. That superiority dynamic mixed with the tendency to erase the sub superior options. That's what makes for a shaming dynamic, right? Because all shame wants you to do is not exist unless you're doing it the good way, unless you're doing it the better way. And personality and test wise, that's what shame implements in on students. Culturally, that's what gives rise to colonialism, and that's what gives rise to like religious wars, right? Because I don't respect you, I don't respect your difference, I don't respect your uniqueness, I don't respect your, just everything that you do is just wrong, and you shouldn't do that, and you should implement my thing instead of yours. And that is the ultimate dynamic that's that is shame, right? So Fletcher is a very, 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 very shaming kind of a witness to his students by always encouraging competition, and even if the competition um even if you have one drummer, he always resorts to tormenting them more because that he believes that is the right way. And therefore, um, what if you have a late bloomer? And what if you have an early peaker? Then Fletcher never gets the chance to work with late bloomers who can potentially surpass um, the drumming skills that he's actually looking for with early peakers, right? And so it's a very one-dimensional way of looking at things, but he's so invested in the idea that he is right that he can't see through that. Now, how he came to this, we don't know. And that's part of the mystery and the allure, right? But what I really want to point out about Fletcher is that Fletcher is seen as good, right? He's a very respected musician, he's a respected educator in the school. That's what makes Andrew want to go under Fletcher's band and not other, instructor's band. But the thing is, if he were so great, then, you know, there are so many things that about Fletcher and his curriculum and about his like stature as an educator. There are so many things that could be different for Fletcher if he were absolutely the best, right? So, like, he's just respected as a prominent figure, but he's not even the best. But he believes that he's the best, right? And the other side interesting, and the side that's interesting to me is how he's so respectful to the other people, especially the judges and the other people in the industry, and how he does a complete 180 to his students. And so that shows me that Fletcher is like although his approach is psychological, it's and he has ideals. In the end, he's ultimately not that different from Korean violent teachers who want to take who wants to take out um, the frustration and the anger of not him, because he has a high ego for himself, but we can tell that he's not absolutely the best because he always has to prove, he has always has to compete, and he always has to take risks with like volatile students. So he always has things to prove to the world, and he lets that out to his students. And so he's all not all that different from all the abusive teachers who, you know, take it out on their students. And so ultimately this is a very interesting movie that covers all of these really intricate aspects of human psychology. Whether it's passion, how does it relate to like other aspects of life? Is a passion driven life at the cost of everything else worth it? You know, and for such a niche thing as jazz drumming, like, is it worth being the, striving to be the best if it makes you happy? But like, is being this, like, is giving up and sacrificing this much, is that true happiness? Who knows? Like, the movie throws a lot of questions in a very passionate way, right? And I think this is absolutely one of the best movies I have ever enjoyed. And yeah, that's my spiel around it. Maybe I'll watch it once more and then I'll have more detailed things to say around it. But this was my review of Whiplash from coming from a life coach. Cool. Okay, yeah, Whiplash was a fun movie to uh, reflect on because there's so many interesting aspects of it. With that, today I want to introduce you to a song of Caravan. I was so into this movie, I just listened to Caravan over and over and over and over again. And that is my song recommendation of the day. Tomorrow I have a meditation party at 8:15 a.m. If you wanna meditate with a bunch of people together, you are welcome on my Discord channel, which you can access with exclamation Discord. And what else? Do I have pictures of my dog today? I don't. Hi, Nisi. Okay, and now let's reflect a little bit on today with the poem. That was yesterday's poem, and Okay, today was let me think a little bit about today. Hey Kaylee, I have to move tomorrow's meditation by 15 minutes earlier because I have a work meeting at 8:30. Backlogged passion, blocked by constructed realities. Is it a poem? I don't know. This is what I came up with today. Um, yeah, this is something I just noticed when working with people today. Like you have all these aspirations of wanting to do something, but this much passion, it seems incompatible with like your reality and the time that you have and like the things that you can do with your body and so all these like constructed realities are like this. So you can contain this much passion in your day, but with that leaves out this much passion, right? And it gets backlogged and it gets stored somewhere. You still have access to it. It's not gone, but it gets backlogged. And then but ultimately the confines of that reality are constructed by so many different factors, but when that construct gets pressured by things that potentially seem dangerous to the fabric of that construct, um I think it gives you a glimpse of what could be, but it also is met with a lot of fear about what if the construct gets broken, and what if life as you know it kind of crumbles. And I think that sort of mixed experience is what I really noticed today, and made me think about it a lot. Yep. Okay, that is poem song of the day is Whiplash. Well, not Whiplash. Whiplash is a good song too, but today's song was Caravan from Whiplash. Now I'm looking for the quote of the day, and I'm looking for it to be a Buddhism. Oh, I, today, my feeling a little blocking today is not blocked, but the things that is on top of my mind today is sometimes the medicine that you exactly need for your ailment is so hard to swallow that it feels almost offensive to consider this as a medicine. And it feels like this medicine is just there to give you more pain on top of your existing ailment and pain. But it's my job to help people kind of navigate through that so that they can see after this really hard to swallow pill what's after that. And I'm just thinking of many different ways to kind of teach these kinds of concepts. And I talked a few days about I talked a few days ago. I think it was it yesterday. We talked about the having high expectations, right? Um, how having high expectation does nothing really but to like eat you up because it just gives you all these reasons to be disappointed about. Um, and when I was speaking about that in yesterday's video, it was more about speaking for other people, right? Like spouses and people like your roommates and other people. But it also really applies to you as well. The more expectations you have about yourself, and the more you look at your life from that expectation lens, and you don't look at your life from the everyday lens, the more likely you are to not just appreciate everything that you have. And appreciating things you have is so important because you know I think of it a little bit like this. You know how sports teams, they go to Arizona to for spring camp and to train, right? And when fighters like UFC fighters, when they get contracts, they go to they form a camp, right? And they get the elite trainers in, and a boxing coach and a grappling coach and recovery nutrition, and so they go through a rigorous camp process. And many people think that in order to attain the level of success that they want, in order to attain the quality of life that they want, they need all those like extraneous, like really nice things that are like custom made for them, right? And so when you have that camp, you'll be able to purely focus on yourself and things like that, compared to like, working out at home, like and going to the gym and like compared to the ordinary life that you have where you have to do your own groceries and you have to take care of your own nutrition. It's so much better to have specialists do that stuff so that you can just purely focus on training and the recovering and the integrating and mental image training and then more physical training and things like that, right? So you can see the difference between the ordinary life and the specific training camp, right? So when you go to a training camp, everything is so good. That that's what gives you the ability to put all of your focus into training, right? All of your focus into development. So what I'm really saying about being grateful for your everyday is your life could have none of the resources that you currently have. You could literally be living on top of dirt, because that's how people used to live in the old times, right? Um, in caves, desperately making fire, like praying that you're not gonna be eaten by tigers that night, and things like that. So you could have been living like this. You could be living like that because they were humans too. We're human now. But when you go into the Amazon rainforests, or when you go into like Southeast Asia, the deep jungles there are still people who live in the waters. There are still people who live in the jungles. They have that kind of like indigenous life, right? So compared to that, your life right now is like a training camp. But we don't see it that way because we think this life that we have is the base life. And it's so important to recognize that no, base life is completely different. Base life is literally base life. What you have, your life right now, there's so many things extra on top of it. And it's like your entire day to day is like full of treasures that you can utilize. And it's a shame that the ordinary resources of your day to day life just go unnoticed and unused and unappreciated because there's so much mileage you can be getting out of those. But um, it really, I think, it really, really all comes together when you truly understand that this life that you have right now is not the base. And I'm not saying the base is such a horrible place to be in. It's actually that what I'm arguing is kind of the opposite. You can be in that base life and be the happiest person ever because all you need to be happy is just living and breathing. The rest is up to here and here. As long as you can manage this, as long as you're in control of this, as long as you're in ownership of this, you can live the base life and you can be the happiest person in the world. So, on top of that, you have all of this. And I want you to realize how rich you are and how resourceful and how abundant you are, how you don't need anything else in your life. And you can be so happy with the life that you have today. And that is really I can see, I mean, I see time after time how this is so difficult to integrate to the mind, that, to the, not maybe here, but here, it wants to continue the suffering. Yeah. But all good. I don't have to take care of all life and all suffering today. Hi, I'm Meku. Yep, yep. And again, like the whole point of all these discussions is not to bum you out. The the life not having a point is not something to be depressed about. There's no purpose in life, and what that means is there's no grand ideal that everyone needs to attain. And that's actually freeing, right? You don't need to get good grades in school. You don't need to have a good job. You don't need to have a lot of money. You don't need to be full all the time. You don't need to sleep all the time and be well rested all the time. You don't have to be fit all the time. And so you just gotta all these kind of restrictions that tell you you can't be happy unless can't be happy unless you can't be happy unless all of those are false. That's supposed to be this really liberating feeling. And then now, because people are so used to living under pressure, they don't know how to celebrate when the pressure is gone. And now, the common thing is to say, well, then what do I live for if there's no point in life? That's so depressing. The whole point is to just have a good time and don't suffer. It's now you get to pick your own future. Like you get to pick your life. And people say, oh, but that's make believe. Well, it's make believe because you still are holding on to the idea that there is an actual good life. And you think you're making excuses because you can't ever reach that actual good life. But if that actual good life was really good life, then like that in that life there are people who suffer. If that life is truly that great, like wouldn't that be the cure for all suffering? Why are there rich people who aren't happy? Why are there people with beautiful and handsome spouses who aren't happy? Why do beautiful people get divorced? Why are there people who with children who hate their children? Why are there people like without children who resent not having had children? Like all these ideals they're just like they seem like ideals because of a cultural lens and a cultural ideal, but that's all there is to it, right? To the individual, that there's nothing ideal about anything unless you decide to make it ideal for yourself. And you got to remember that that perspective is unique to you. So again, these are really wild concepts to consider, but there's no inherent quality in anything. Like, what is this? Right? What is this? You think it's a pen, right? You think it's inherently a pen. But what if I only use this to pick my nose? You know? And what if I use this as a weapon and I never use it to write anything? Then this isn't a pen to me, right? This is a nose picker or a weapon. Or I don't know, maybe I can get two pens and I can use it as a chopstick. There's nothing about this that says this is inherently a pen and I'm using it wrong. No, I can use those. I can use it in all of those use cases fine. Like paper, especially like lined paper, right? It's supposed to be for note taking, but then I can use it for origami. I can use it as a rolling paper. I can use it as a fuel for my barbecue, right? There's nothing inherent about this paper that makes this paper. I don't know. I can use this as to like pick my nose again. So if I want to, everything can be a nose picker. That's the power that I have because I understand that there's nothing inherent about anything. This is a chocolate bar packaging. Oh yes. But like again, this can be a nose picker for me, right? There's no inherent quality about this that makes this chocolate wrapper. This is trash now. Like why is there chocolate just because it used to contain it? The context has changed. Everything is everything gets imparted a meaning. Everything gets imparted a definition because of a perspective and a context. And so there's nothing about anything. Like this is a shoe, right? But is it? Again, what if I use to pick my nose? What if I use it as a, a paperweight? What if I use it as a, tool to demonstrate bilateral stimulation when you want to dissociate from your stressed out state, right? Then this is a tool for demonstration. It's not a shoe at all. It has no inherent qualities. Like this is an alpaca toy. Is it? It's plastic. Again, I can use this to pick my nose. There's no inherent quality to anything. But so this, when you apply it to the external things, it's so easy to understand. It's intuitive. There's nothing about this that it makes it inherently a mouse. To an outsider, this might as well just be like a piece of plastic. So all these things, right? It's easy to see. It's easy to see from an external circumstance. These are glasses. I call them glasses because they help me see. But there's nothing inherent about this that makes it a glass. It depends on how I use it. I use it as glasses. Therefore, these are glasses to me. So, why this is important is your thoughts also have no inherent quality. And that is so confusing to see. And your physical sensation and the images that you have in your head, there are no inherent qualities to it. Like, I went to jujitsu a few days ago and then got some, neck, here, right? Like, and then like cuz I got choked and then people try to like sink in chokes, and then I got, mat burn here, and then I have I think I have a bruise here. Yeah, I have a bruise here that's healing all from jujitsu, right? Now, if I didn't do jujitsu, all of these are just like so painful, and these are reasons for like, oh no, like these are reasons for me to be in pain, right? But when I do jujitsu, it's just part of what comes with it, right? This is just what happens when you spar with people who try to kill each other, right? So this it's the same thing, but it just becomes like, yeah, but it's part of what I do, right? So the pain doesn't have to mean anything. That's basically what pain tolerance is, right? You get to understand that, oh, this amount of pain is not like, oh, this is just something that happens all the time. It doesn't mean anything. When someone puts a knee on belly on me and they ride my knee, then I mean, and with their knee they ride on my belly. Of course it hurts. Like, of course it hurts my belly, but then it's like it doesn't mean anything because it's just part of a position, right? If someone tries to smother me, it feels bad. But when I experience smothering and like trying to choke and shit, it's like part of the game, right? So you see that even your experiences are inherently they have no inherent qualities to it. Like pain, there's nothing about pain that makes it bad outside of your perspective. And your self definition, how you think about your mom, how you think of your life, how you think of money, how you think of everything around you, how you think of the meaning of your life, there's no inherent quality to it that's good or bad. It's all dependent on how you set the context around it. Again, with the fighting camp like analogy, right? So that's why it's so important for you to realize that reality depends on the context. You can live the same reality, but if your mind contextualizes it as a heaven, you can be living in heaven right now. You don't even need to die. But if you learn to look at the same set of circumstances as hell, then it's living hell. There's so many things about my life I can complain about, right? But all that does is make my life miserable. But I know my life and the things that I experience, there are no inherent qualities to it that make it bad. It's all up to my perspective. When I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m., waking up at 6 a.m. fucking sucks. When I don't want to bow 108 times in the morning, I hate it. Then that's a reason for me to suffer. When I meditate and I'm forced to meditate, it's a reason to suffer. When I have to work with clients, when I want to take a nap, it's a reason for me to suffer. And when I have to work along with my coaching business and it takes all the time out of my day and I feel so tired because I'm sitting in front of the computer all the time, it's a reason for me to suffer. But I stopped living my life like that. I stopped contextualizing all the things in my life like that. I know I wake up at 6 a.m. because I know what sleeping feels like. I know what it's like to be well rested. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be tired when I'm well rested. So I know what happens. And I know what happens when I'm awake. I want to be awake. I prefer that because I want to live my life instead of spending it so consumed by this need to be comfortable. I bow. I can hate it, but I can also treat it as like the best exercise of the day because I spend a lot of time sitting here just every morning, bowing 108 times for 25 minutes. Gets all the exercise of the day done, and then my jujitsu, then it just becomes a plus alpha, right? And meditation, yeah, I think all the time. I use this all the time. I listen to other people. I have to decipher their life story, give them ideas of what I can coach them on, and I have to activate my brain and bring up all my resources. That takes a lot of thought, right? When I work, I use a lot of thought, but meditation, I don't need to do anything. And isn't that good? Like I give my brain, I give my life a good break. It's so good. Working with clients is good because I never hang out with people. I'm an introvert. I don't like socializing people. But when I coach people, I get a chance to meet with them. When I work with people, it's good because I usually meet people from a coach client perspective, and now I get to meet coworkers who are kind of like in the same hierarchy as me, and that's refreshing, right? And then outside of work, I have my dogs, I have my wife. Everything's a reason to be good. Everything in my life is working for me. That's the context I choose, and that's the reality I live because there's nothing about reality that makes it good or bad outside of how I think about it. I should have given that whole spiel to my students, but I can just refer them to this video. Okay. Well, where was it for you guys? Yeah. I'll just link you guys to the this video. Yeah. It's weird because yeah, it's surprise. I put a lot of pressure on my students, and I put a lot of I drill my students a lot. I challenge them in all these different ways. But my current context with my students is that it's a business coaching, right? And I really like to separate business coaching from life coaching because I think they are very separate problems because making money is a very unique set of skill sets that you have to learn and practice and develop. And that skill is very different from like whether you're good at something or not. You can be the best like Etsy creator and for handcrafted things, but if you don't have the specific like money making skills, what I call the three problem method, um, if you don't have that, then you can't really sell and you can't have really have a successful business. At the same time, you can kind of be mediocre at the things that you do, but not be a super expert. But if you master the three problems, then you can have a successful business. That's really what I believe in. And so my business coaching is more centered around you know, educating people on that, making sure people get the reps in for using the three problem method. And that's why I challenge people because it requires my students to step out of their comfort zone. But the whole spiel that I just gave is more for life coaching, right? And so I do this for life coaching. But again, what everything that I just said, right? Everything that I just said, if that can land in your life, not just here, if you can truly let go of all the constructed realities that you believe in, if you can truly believe that your insecurities about yourself are only true because you keep making it true in your head, if you can believe that you're, like all the evidence of why you're so broken and wrong, there's nothing inherent about that that makes you actually broken and wrong. If you can truly see that, if you can truly see even the pain that you experience is nothing but some electrical signals inside of your body, if you can truly see that, and if you can truly integrate it, you are you become Buddha. You can declare the end of your suffering. And ultimately, that is the goal for my life coaching clients. Over my life coaching program is for 6 months, and I after 6 months, if you don't have the true understanding that you have right now, we just keep going until you get the understanding. And then after you get the understanding, then you stop becoming my client. We become peers. We become peers in a life where we navigate through our karma. And that's basically how I structure my coaching program. And that's the context around my coaching. It's very Buddhism based because there's nothing that truly explains why people suffer, repeatedly for the same reason, no matter how many times they get therapy, no matter how many times they go through different modalities of coaching. Huh. Now that I think about it, the development of my coaching practice really follows and resembles Buddha's experience of constantly going out to the world and looking at people and like, why do these people suffer for all these different reasons? And yeah, I'm glad that I had this experience in my life where I truly got to integrate Buddhism as part of my breath. Okay, I am, today I wasn't planning to stream for more than an hour, but I've gotten so used to streaming, the feeling of streaming now, that I just do it unconsciously now. All right. Well, party people, I'm going to take a cold shower and get ready for the day tomorrow. Send some emails, take care of some paperwork, send some invoices, pay some bills, prepare some taxes, and then get ready for the exciting day I have ahead tomorrow. New day, new sunrises, new opportunities. All these things that can happen tomorrow. Isn't it so good? Like how all the pain and how all the suffering from today and yesterday, it has nothing to do with tomorrow. I want you to love that feeling as well. Thank you so much for the good night wishes, and see you tomorrow.